Welcome to Scott's Slasher World. This week, I'm going to be showing off a bunch of VHS horror sequels that are in my collection. First up this week is the sequel to Hellraiser, Hellbound, Hellraiser II. Really dig the cover with your unrated marked across. It's the time to play tagline with the Cenobites in the front there. On the back, it's got some scenes from the movie, nice red on the back there. Really dig Hellraiser 2. Might be better than Hellraiser 1. A lot of people do like this better. I'm a big fan of part 3 just because it's super cheesy and super 80s. But as like actual scary goes, this might be up there, and it might be better than the first when it comes to like terror. But really cool horror movie sequel. Next up is The Hidden 2. Not as good as The Hidden 1. Really cool cover, part alien, part human, and it's back for seconds. And here is the VHS. Next up is one of the greatest horror movie sequels of all time, at least in my opinion. I love Halloween 2. A really great slasher, way more slashings happening in part 2. I dig this Good Times release. It's a cool cover. Of course, stars Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance. And if you've never seen this, and you're a fan of like horror films that take places in hospitals, this is right up your alley. Can't recommend this one enough. I love Halloween 2. Next up is this super cool Demons 2. Man, take a look at that cover. Not as good as Demons 1, but a super cool sequel. I love, like I said, the cover. Take a look at the back. That is a really cool back. I love the neon green, or the weird like lime green. And here is the VHS. Next up is Buried Alive 2. I've actually never watched this film. I've never even watched the first one. I think I picked this up at a Goodwill. It stars Ali Sheedy and Tim Matheson, so really cool cast. I do need to pop this one in and watch it. Here is the VHS. Next up is Phantasm II on VHS. I know a lot of fans really dig Phantasm II, and I do like it because it's got a bigger budget. I don't like the recasting of Michael Baldwin. Of course, they went back in part 3 and 4 and 5 Ravager, and Michael Baldwin's back as his character, but this one, James LaGrosse takes over the role. Still has Reggie Bannister in it, so that is always cool, and it's got some cool scenes in it. I do like the sequel. For me though, Phantasm 1 is definitely the scariest, and I think Phantasm 3 is the funnest. I mean, it is an 80s flick. I know a lot of people don't like 3 because it's campy, but that's kind of what makes it special to me. I do dig Phantasm 2. You can definitely tell they have a bigger budget to work with, but I don't know. What is your thoughts on Phantasm 2? Do you like it better than Phantasm 1? Let me know in the comments. Next up, by director James Cameron, is Piranha II The Spawning. Look at that. Now that's a wild flick. James Cameron has called this the best flying piranha movie to ever be created. Speaking of part 2s that are my favorite, if you've watched last week's video, you saw me show Puppetmaster 2 off. I love Puppetmaster 2. It is my favorite in the series. To me, this feels like a Hammer horror film. Like, it starts off with like the resurrection of Andre Toulon. Feels like a Frankenstein or Bride of Frankenstein starting off. I really dig this movie. I think this is the best Puppetmaster that's been created so far. But I don't know, let me know what you think. A lot of people like part 3 the best. A lot of people like 1 the best. Maybe some people like the remake better. I don't know. But let me know in the comments if you like Puppetmaster 2 the best out of the series. Next up is the movie that features a lot of cameos from your favorite horror film star. As the back says, this is featuring cameos from horror's hottest cult favorites. So Pumpkinhead 2 Bloodwing has Kane Hodder in it, R.A. Mahelhoff, Linnea Quigley. It also has Amy Dolenz and stars Soleil Moon Frye, who's best known as Punky Brewster. I really dig the cover of the of this VHS. It doesn't. Part 1 is still my favorite, but it's a cool sequel. I dig it. Let me know if you like Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings down in the comments. Next up is another horror movie sequel that I think is better than the original, and that is Child's Play 2. Sorry, Jack, Chucky's back. I remember when I was a kid, the cover scared me, and I also remember saying "Sorry, Jack, Chucky's back" all the time, just because I thought it was like a cool tagline. And yeah, man, this has got it all. They've amped up the gore, they've amped up the camp, they've amped up Chucky's one-liners. I mean, this is a great film. I gotta say, this is the best Child's Play film. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Next up is Watchers 2. I think they've made a total of 4 Watchers films. I really dig the series. Part 1 is my favorite in the series, but Part 2 is really cool as well. This one stars Mark Singer and Tracy Scoggins. The first one had Corey Haim in it. It's about a dog that's linked with a monster. I guess they were cloning the dog with the monster, so the monster wants to get out and kill the dog, and so anywhere the dog goes, the monster is coming after it. It's a cool film, a cool premise. I really dig the Watchers series. Watchers 4 is also a really good one. Has Mark Hamill in it. Speaking of Amy Dolenz from Pumpkinhead 2, we have her in Witchboard 2, The Devil's Doorway. This was directed by Kevin S. Tenney, and this is the best Witchboard movie. I dig this film, really cool film. This one aired all the time back in the day on like HBO and Cinemax. I remember always seeing it. But yeah, I dig Witchboard 2, the best out of the Witchboard series. Next up is another sequel that a lot of people actually like better than the original. It's Fright Night Part 2, and look at this awesome cover. Got a really cool back too. Really dig it. The tagline is "The Suckers Are Back." I actually do like Part 1 better than Part 2, but this one is a lot of fans' favorites. Let me know which one is your favorite down in the comments. Let's return to the nightmare. It's Gate 2. A really cool sequel, not as good as the original in my opinion, but just a fun sequel overall, and here is the VHS. Next up is another cool sequel. It's A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddys Revenge, starring Mark Patton, Kim Myers, also Clu Gulager is in this one, and of course Robert Englund is back as Freddy Krueger. Here is the VHS. Next up is the highly anticipated sequel to the Blair Witch Project. It's Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. I dig the film. I know it was cut heavily. A lot of the plot is sort of cut out, but you know, I still dig this film. Really cool. I love the cast. And take a look at this. It's got the sticker here on the bottom from the old video store that I used to work at, Superstar Video. We have Scanners 2, The New Order. A very, very cool cover. I dig this cover a lot. Looks very Terminator 2-ish. Really, really dig the cover. A good film, not as good as the original in my opinion, but just a fun film overall. Next up, it's Roger Corman Presents Carnosaur II. I really dig Carnosaur II, and if memory serves me correctly, I do like this one a little better than the original. I do remember it being bloodier than the original. I'll have to go back and watch just to be sure, but man, look at that cover. That is a one cool cover, and there's the VHS. Next up is a sequel that I've never watched. It is Boggy Creek II. I got this one in a tray from Movie John. Dig the cover. Here is the back. And I do need to pop this one in. I've not watched part 2. And the last horror sequel I'll be showing off this week is very fitting because the movie itself revolves around someone who has taken their love of sequels too far. I am talking about Scream 2. A very, very good sequel to the original. It's not my favorite out of the Scream movies. It's probably my second favorite. Scream 1 is still my favorite. But man, when they did a sequel, they did it up. Yeah, you got to give props to Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson on this one, and the actors. I don't like the way they killed Randy, but it makes it iconic. I hate that Randy had to go, but man, what a horror movie sequel. That's all for this week. Let me know what your favorite horror movie sequel is down in the comments. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss a video. Welcome to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching me show off VHS copies of Part 2s. Here are a few Part 2s of posters. We have Stranger Things 2. We have Pork Chops, which is Pork Chop 2, Rise of the Rind. And the next thing I'm going to show off is what I'd like to do next time. Part 3s in the series. So if you want me to do the same kind of video as I did this week, next week, but with Part 3s in a series, let me know in the comments.